So I noticed that the gantry was starting to go aft and lean, reached over to grab the gantry, and when I did, I fell face first. I'm gonna talk real quick about how we rigged that generator off the boat and what happened. We set up the gantry, and that gantry, we used a chain fall to lift the generator up out of the lazarette. So once we got it suspended up into the air, a couple inches off the aft deck, we started to transfer weight to this davit right here. And the davit was sitting further aft. So we were slowly going up on the davit and down on the chain fall. So the davit would start to take more and more of the weight, and the generator would move aft onto the aft deck, where we could then set it down and prepare to use the davit to transfer it to the pier. So while we were doing that, a couple things about this davit. This locking pin right here that locks this davit into place so that this section right here doesn't slide in or out. So it's manually extended or retracted based off of where you want it to be at the time. Not knowing that that didn't lock it into place until after we were done, we had the davit positioned aft and we're transferring the weight to it, and the davit was actually pointed slightly downwards, so that once it started to take the weight, gravity took over and slid and basically extended that davit arm out, which dropped it down the 2 inches and put it on the back deck. All right, so as it did that and slid aft and down and set the generator on the deck, where we had that gantry set up, the gantry started to lean aft, but wasn't really falling because the generator was already on the deck. So I noticed that the gantry was starting to go aft and lean, reached over to grab the gantry, and when I did, I fell face first, came down on my forearms. Nothing was damaged. I wasn't hurt. I did lose a hat over the side, and the lens to my glasses popped out. But fortunately, that was it as far as injuries or damage. Key takeaway there is when we finally did lift it off the boat, we made sure that the davit was positioned so that as we took the weight, we had the davit arm completely retracted. The angle was such that as it took the weight, it would stay retracted, and then we could just swing it over onto the pier and set it down right there next to where my tool bag is.
So we got a brand new 9 kW Northern Lights generator, and put it on this cart, take it down the dock and put it in the boat.
Pretty nice generator.
And it's going in one of our clients' boats. The old one has the engine seized up. So this thing cost about 20 grand. So we're gonna get this down here by the dock. What's your favorite brand of generator? I would have to say this is probably one of my favorites, Northern Lights. They're pretty easy to work on. Leave me a comment, let me know what your favorite brand is. AJ, put that down there and come up and help us with this. Going down this way or go the other way?
This way, so that way if it starts to go, the person pushing has got.
Okay. I have like a braking action going on here, so roll it forward. We'll have to get it past this stuff. All right.
You might have to go back to the back and lift. Oh, nope.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. This is working out just fine, it looks like. Ha. We don't need Chris.
No, we do not.
Ready? What am I stuck on?
It's stuck on the
bottom?
Yeah.
Okay, here, hold this. I'm going to pick it up a little bit if I can.
No, stuck more on our side.
Stuck on your side. Okay. A little more. There we go. All right. So this is a Northern Lights 9 kW generator. So you can't even buy these anymore. This was the last one on the shelf. Hook up to this one, lift it up and swing it, put it on the deck. So we got AJ is getting the davit ready, and we're gonna see what we can do here.
We'll give it a shot and see, but oh, it does.
Oh, sweet. Always keep tension on these because it'll rat nest in there.
Yeah.
So, okay, go. Okay, hang on.
AJ, son of a boy, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
In my back seat on the driver's side or on the passenger side? I think it's on the driver's side. Is a milk crate with the chain fall and everything.
Set the void.
If you check age, you're pretty much
We could all have bothered you. So hey, do you want to take the cart?
AJ. I didn't mean to offend you. Did I hurt your pretty little feelings?
Oh.
24 and a half and 19.
24 and a half and 19. Hold that for me, good sir.
Is it just a chain call or what?
I think 24 and a half is going to be big enough.
24 and a half?
Yeah,
We're good.
We're 23 and a half, maybe. Okay.
And then you said 19,
And
right?
then I think we could just take the water bottle up. Yeah, 19. Sure, they just popped right off.
We still got half an inch from here.
All right.
Yeah,
So we'll double
because
check.
I was talking to John this morning and he says there's no reason water should get in here unless the wet exhaust was not installed. But I thought the water got in here.
Because this rusted out.
Yeah.
Right, so this is where the rust spot was.
Yeah, the heat
This,
exchanger. Yep.
and it ate through, I thought it ate through the wall. And honestly, they're still trying to resell this, or is this like
No, I don't know.
concrete?
Oh.
Drop that thing down.
Lock stuff, man? Yep, go. Almost.
Where are we stuck on?
What's that back corner?
Oh, that's why we're stuck.
Okay.
Do we want to get something, tether or something, that strap like we had before, and just hook it to something and have somebody stand over there to give it a little bit of control?
Those are even more
What
expensive.
kind of sketchy situation have we got ourselves into today, Chris?
So this is the continuation of the generator replacement. Here's the new one. We finally got it on board, and now we are getting ready to get it set up to drop her in there. So we're just going to kind of reverse how we did before.
Yeah, hopefully no mix-ups this time.
Nah, no real mix-ups. Just happy mistakes.
Happy mistakes.
So when it's in that hole, which end needs to be in the front and which end needs to be in the back?
So your end needs to be starboard.
Okay. So how do we want to push it into the hole? I guess it doesn't really matter, does it?
No,
Because we've got
really.
to turn it this way to get it in the hole.
Yeah,
Then we've got to turn it back this way anyways.
yeah.
So it
There's
doesn't
plenty
really
of
matter.
room in there once we get it in there.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. That plywood fell. If we lay this on that plywood, which I don't care about doing, that plywood's not going to catch and break something, is it? Can you
No.
see down there?
No. All right, good.
Well, so it's in the boat. Now we still got to move it and do all that other crap.
All the other fun stuff.
Yeah, a little block and tackle and some leverage, or we just redesigned the entire boat around the generator being right here, which is where exactly it should have been in the first place.
I like the sound of that idea.
Yeah, but whatever. I'm not an engineer, but I did watch an Elon Musk documentary, so that counts.
Did watch a couple YouTube videos. Also.
Yeah, YouTube mechanic at its finest.
And you stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
That's true. I did that as well. So I've got a lot of things going for me right
Oh, yeah.
now. YouTube, Holiday Inn Express, you name it.
Twitter,
Twitter, you know what I mean? So I've got some really good opinions.
that Facebook group chat that no one's a part of.
Yes. All right. Well, I think this deserves a coffee break. Let's get this, keep moving forward. Now we just got to slide it in, under all of the cables, back through the door that we made, into the platform that we have to mount, onto the platform, and hook it all back up and make sure that it runs and provides power throughout the ship.
That's as far in as we're going to be able to go with the lift. Hang on, let me get this hook off of it.
We'll get the pry bar in here like we did before, where we just lift it up so it'll clear this little bit of a lip and help it drop into place.
You want the pry bar?
Yeah.
Alright, so we got the generator in. It's in somewhat in place now. Right now, Brett and Chris inside is figuring out how to connect up all the hoses and where all the wires go so we can get this thing bolted down and strapped in. But other than that, it's going pretty smoothly, I would say. A lot smoother than taking the old one out. But the boys down there are working diligently to get this all buttoned up and ready to go. So here I am, behind the distribution panel. We are getting ready to put the control panel for the generator in right here. All we have to do is fish tape line down this direction, and hopefully this will go as smoothly as we think it will with pulling the line, but we all know how that goes. Crammed into this somewhat spacious hole to get this done.
All right, so we are back here doing our generator install on this 54-foot Fathom. Quick little recap, we've gotten the old generator out. The new generator is in. It's not completely installed yet, but the more complicated part of actually getting this big old generator in here is done. Things that are still pending is bundle of wire here. That's the control harness. The original control harness, even though it is same manufacturer and everything, it has new switches, new control panel that has to go up by the controls in the actual galley upstairs. The new one, the issue that we're running into is type of connector right here. And the old one is very different in size and shape, so it won't hook up to the old one. I just saw it around here somewhere. It's actually round. We don't want to use the old one. Oh, here it is. Old and new. Typically, whenever we're just replacing one wire for another, what I like to do is, especially if it's like a big bundle like this, is I'll try to run a lead line connected to this, pull that through, so then we have a smaller line in the run, or we have less wires in the run, but then we have just a small wire to pull it through, or just use the fish tape like we have now here. The issue that we're having with this one is it runs through this. It's completely zip tied. It runs behind the tank that is way back there, out of reach of anybody in our shop. So now we're gonna set this up to run it.
Stop.
I don't think this is gonna, even with all of this, I think it's gonna be too big for that.
All right, Chris, what happened and what are you doing?
So we were trying to run this, keep this harness completely intact, just because I'm a huge fan of however it comes from the manufacturer, keep it that way. And I don't preferably like to splice into things, because over time splices can and sometimes do fail, even if you do it right. So we were just trying to keep everything intact as much as possible, but there's no way that this, even if we wrap it, lube it, is gonna run down that run or get through any other way. So we're gonna cut this, probably cut it back about like right here, run just the thickness of this bundle, which it'll fit through there nice and good on the fish tape. It'll get all the way down out of the engine room and up to the control panel, and then behind the panel we will resplice this. I'm pretty comfortable cutting this, because if the splice ever does fail or anything, it's pretty easily accessible. It's in a dry location. So that's our plan moving forward. Just like everything, we try to do it the most right way possible, but sometimes characteristics of boats don't allow us to do that, so we have to improvise. And in this case, just doing simple splices.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
I know it might be a little hard to see now. We got the old harness out. It's all good to go. Wire's been pulled through. It's been completely disconnected. We got the new harness in, cleaned it all up, zip tied it to the wall so it looks nice and neat. It's running all the way down to the generator. All we have to do now is that I gotta do a little cleaning in the space that I'm in. And then we gotta op check the generator, or actually hook up the generator, fully hook it up, and then op check it, make sure everything works, and then we should be good to go. Alright, so we're back here trying to mount this new generator, and we're having the issue of trying to line up these holes. Unfortunately, we didn't really think ahead. Mounted the board before we put the generator on top. Now we're gonna do it the hard way of trying to move it with the generator on top to mount the holes. Hopefully it goes quicker than it sounds. What do you think, Brent?
It's going to be interesting. We'll get it done, though.
We will get it done. It will get done. So we just finished the struggle of mounting the baseboard for the generator. It was a lot harder than you would anticipate it to be, considering the generator weighs about 500 pounds. Being in this small space, it's hard to move around, get the right angle. Right now, we centered the generator up. We're gonna mount the generator to the board, get that all snugged up, get it so it doesn't rattle around, and then we're gonna start connecting up hoses and wires and get this thing running so we can get out of this engine room once and for all.
All right, so we just finished mounting that generator, and it's all squared away now. As far as the mounting of it, we still have to connect all the hoses and electrical services to it. But while we were down here, we were going to reconnect this freshwater hose that ties the port and starboard freshwater tanks together. So earlier, we grabbed the hose and went to stretch it out, and it wasn't long enough. Since we've been working on this for a couple hours now, about 2.5 hours, getting the generator in place and mounted though, this has been kind of sitting in the direct sun. It actually is long enough to reach the other fitting. So we're going to go ahead and finish that up and get that reconnected.
Have you guys ever seen anything like that? A hose shrinking?
Let us know in the comments.
And I'm here reading the manual so I can go step by step, making sure that I'm doing everything right. I've been taught that it doesn't matter if you've been doing this for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It's always good to assess the manual, make sure that you have everything that you need, make sure that everything is going where it needs to be, and making sure that everything is getting tightened up as much as it needs to be. It's always good to assess the manual whenever you're doing something like this, mechanical work or electrical work or any kind of work, to be honest, where it comes with a manual. All right, Brett, what we got going on here?
All right, so we got all the services connected. We did have to install a siphon brake here. So that's going to come out the main service access for now, because we don't want to cut any holes into the sound enclosure, and the sound enclosure wasn't outfitted for holes for this siphon brake. So we're just going to, the cover that covers this part right here, where you would get in and check your oil levels, add oil, and that kind of stuff, is going to just stay off. Put the cover on this side, and then the back side, and then talk to the customer about what they want to do with these hoses.
All right, cool. Sweet.